des Happy Bet European Darts Grand Prix 2016. Wir kommen zum ersten von insgesamt 6 deutschen Startern. Er kommt aus Kassel. Er hat Ähnliches vollbringen wird. Einen großen Applaus für Dragutin Horvat. Dragutin nimmt es mit einem Mann aus England auf. 32 Jahre ist er alt. Er hat im letzten Jahr zum ersten Mal ein Viertelfinale auf der European Tour gespielt, konnte im Mai des vergangenen Jahres auch seinen ersten PDC-Titel gewinnen auf der Pro Tour. Die aktuelle Nummer 42 der Weltrangliste. Herzlich willkommen, Shaggy Joe Murnan. Und noch einen Mann möchte ich gerne hier oben auf der Bühne begrüßen. Er hat mir heute Morgen noch beim Frühstück gesagt, ach, ich könnte schon wieder, ich habe schon wieder Lust, freue mich auf das Wochenende hier von Sindelfingen. Herzlich willkommen, The Voice, Prix.
Well, 2 men through already here at the Happy Bet European Darts Grand Prix, live from the Glaspalast in Sindelfingen, Germany. We're going to see our first host nation qualifier in action right now. Dragutin Horvat surprise package a couple of weekends ago when he stormed through to the quarter-finals, the final session of action at the International Darts Open. A few of the German guys here had said, you know, we know this guy, he's a good player, but it was a phenomenal run from Horvat, playing in his first European Tour event for 3 years, and he just produced consistent performances of 95 average around that mark. He had a 99 in there as well, played some excellent darts. And Joe Murnan here may well have his hands full if Dragutin plays anything like that kind of standard. And nearly bumped into the walk-on goals there, Dragutin. That's not the ideal start. Dan Dawson in the commentary box for this one. Paul Nicholson joins me for the first time this weekend.
The most important thing about this game, before we even start, is that Joe Murnan knows how Dragutin Horvat plays now.
First leg, Joe to throw first. Game on!
As Prix gets us underway, Joe Murnan will definitely know what he did in Risa. Absolutely guarantee that. So now, it's no longer the devil you don't know. It's definitely the devil he knows. And we know that Horvat is useful.
Yeah, he is. I mean, just to go through who he beat a couple of weekends ago. Ricky Evans 6-4, and Ricky started poorly, but he really came back strongly at him in that game, and Dragutin held him off. Then he saw off Gerwyn Price, and we know what he's capable of. And then he saw off Ian White. It was only Kim Huybrechts who did for him, and over the course of these 3 Euro Tour events that we've seen in Germany, well, 2 and a bit, Kim Huybrechts has been one of the standout performers. He has been absolutely superb. So, you know, no shame in losing to Kim, but seeing off Ian White, Gerwyn Price and Ricky Evans over 3 days, I think that just shows that Horvat's got a little bit about him. But Joe Murnan, we know, he's a man who's won a Players' Championship event, and you don't win those unless you can play some serious darts. It's fair to say that since then, Joe Murnan perhaps hasn't kicked on as he would have liked. But that's not to say that it's not around the corner.
They do say that winning your second one is harder than winning the first one. The pressure does get mounted on you after you've won that first one, as if to say, right, okay, he's going to kick on now. It hasn't seemed to have happened for Joe yet. But Joe's not the kind of person to let pressure get the better of him. He just goes at his own pace. And nothing bothers him. I mean, he obviously doesn't like losing. But even if he does, I mean, that is not the ideal dart, but he can fix that with the tops.
14.
It's a long way off at 11.
This is the kind of shot that Horvat was hitting a couple of weeks ago.
Oh dear, well, he's not going to hit it now.
He's probably looking for treble 4.
Yeah, treble 4, treble 20 bull. It's the only way to go for 1-2-2.
Sorry, 84. Joe, you require 40.
Well, Joe Murnan looks at tops and gets tops, and
Joe Murnan, second leg,
does get the first leg in the bag with a hold of throw.
I think that's the biggest celebration I've ever seen from Joe Murnan. A little left-hand fist pump.
He doesn't give much away, to be fair.
No, I wouldn't want to play cards against him at all.
32-year-old from Bolton, so at the World Championship, of course, who was involved in that incredible game with Andy Hamilton, former world finalist.
I remember when he played at the UK Open as a qualifier for the first time, and I think he made the last 16. And I was saying, who's this local fella? Just nobody can beat him. And since then, he really has played well in the BDO circuit. Picked up the Romanian Open title, I believe.
He did, yeah. 2011 won the Romanian Open.
Yeah.
It was last year when it was a breakthrough year on the PDC. Not only did he win that Players' Championship event, when he didn't have a tour card, he was just there making up the numbers, if you like. But he didn't just make up the numbers, obviously. But he had a couple of Challenge Tour wins as well.
I think he'd categorise Joe's form as very streaky. When he gets going, he's just unbelievable.
82.
He does have off days, but at the moment he seems to be more on than off. He's already hit tops. Can he do it again? Yes, he can. This is definitely an on day for Shaggy.
Third leg Joe to throw.
And it might be the presence of a northwest darting great that is with him this weekend in the shape of Paul Williams. I saw Paul in the practice room earlier on. Said to him, wow,
85.
I haven't seen you in a while. Played at Lakeside in the back in the mid-90s. Played a bit of PDC action in about 10, 15 years ago.
174.
Well, Dragutin Horvat with 3 trebles in that visit to kick off the leg, and having been hit with a 12 darter from Murnan in the previous
85.
leg, Dragutin, it might have just kicked him into life here. Ooh,
Made of a walk in the beast.
Ooh, just the 4 perfect darts. 5 out of 6 will do, though. Good stuff from Dragutin, who came through the host nation qualifiers last night. Had to win 4 games to get through. So he saw Mario Schulze, Helge Bruckner.
140.
Mr. Koskin.
Yes.
Do you know his first name?
Selaletin.
There we go.
Been practicing that.
Yeah, I know you had. And Sasha Goldhammer. So he's won 4 games to get here, Dragutin. We saw in Risa that if he builds up a head of steam and confidence is high,
58.
then he can produce a
Dragutin
very
required
consistent,
144.
solid level of performance. The 144 is not going to go, but can he find a treble? He can. That'll do.
Joe, you require 133.
Unless Murnan takes this out, and this will be a big one.
Well, that leaves 73. Ooh, good effort.
93.
Now, this 44's got to go, because Murnan's been deadly on top so far in this game. He's going to leave tops himself. 210s was good at this in Risa.
Game Sean.
And he's good again in single thing. And
Dragutin Harvey.
the beast has been awoken.
Full leg, Dragutin to throw first. Game on.
Like Scooby-Doo, this, isn't it? Shaggy's chasing after the big monster.
59.
We shall see if he can book his place in the second round to face Terry Jenkins. Or whether those pesky Germans will thwart him.
55.
Beat me to it using the word pesky. Well, Joe Murnan was very pesky to me in qualifying.
I was going to leave that for you to mention.
Yeah.
I've got it written down, but I thought I'd leave it.
To be fair to Joe, he played very well. Clicked the match off with 161 checkout. He played very, very well, and
100.
proved that again by beating John Henderson next.
Beat him 6-2 as well, so a couple of big name scalps for Murnan in the qualifiers.
96.
Yeah, those qualifiers are getting harder and harder. And it used to be the case, you know, 2-3 years ago on the European circuit, you'd get a home nation qualifier and you think, Christmas. Not anymore. When you're getting the likes of Max Hopp, Horvat.
60.
I mean, even some of the other guys who are coming through, we don't know a lot about them, but they could do what Horvat did in Risa, and next thing you know, we know a lot about them.
126.
Well, that is a superb couple of visits from Joe Murnan there. 180 followed by 126, but Horvat may, does he stay there? No, he moved over to the 18s. I'm not sure if it was the right decision or not. It looked like a decent lie for him to use on the treble 20. Murnan tops. He's hit it a number of times. And he hits it again. That's a 3rd time that he's hit double top.
Fifth leg, Joe to
He's
throw
not
first.
missing it much, Joe Murnan.
I've noticed Paul Williams in the crowd there, just in the bottom left of the screen, a very happy man. His boy is doing rather well. I've noticed that recently. There's a lot of previous generation dart players or
59.
players from a few years ago who are being like a tutor to younger pros. Eric Bristow spent some time with James Wade.
60.
Obviously Della with Adrian Lewis. Eric Bristow with Phil Taylor. Less said about that, the better.
I mean, you've got Barney working alongside some of the young Dutch lads, Zuidwijk and De Zwaan.
95.
It does help. It definitely helps.
You've mentioned before that you had a sort of mentor, if you like, in darts when you were first sort of taking up the game. And what is it? Is it more about the technical aspects, the counting, which shots to go for? Is it more about the mental approach to the game?
Mental approach and basically trying to impart experience. Saying, well, you've got 2 hours to your game. How do you feel? We should be doing this, this, and this, not doing this. I mean, with some of the younger guys, they want to have it. There's Paul Williams there. What they want to be doing sort of 30 minutes before a game, it's, get on the board, get your earplugs in, get focused now, and do things in stages. I just think it's imparting experience, which is the biggest factor here. And maybe, bringing Paul Williams this weekend has been something that Joe's worked on at home for a while, but now he just needs somebody in his corner
30
to help him just kick on that little bit more.
Well, he's missed double top there, but he's going to come back and have 3 more darts at it. And the way that he's been hitting it, you would expect him to get it and go 4-1 up here. And Joe Murnan is averaging in the high 90s here. He is playing a very solid game of darts, and it's the kind of stuff that we saw from him last year when he's playing some really good stuff. And we see he's quite fired up for this by Joe Murnan's standard.
Game on.
Well, maybe that's one of the things he's been trying to tell him, because Paul Williams was always the kind of player to get a little bit revved, and he was never shy to celebrate. So maybe he's just said to Joe, you know what, get up there and just show a little bit of steel, a little bit of personality, and it's working.
43.
Nothing wrong with it at the moment. He's averaging 98. I mean, that is very, very good. And as we say, we're singing Horvat's praises all the way through
45.
that weekend in Riesa when he was averaging around about the 95 mark, had that 199 game against Ian White. You can go a long way
45.
averaging in the high 90s, just as Mensur Suljevic.
Yes, you can.
European Tour winner, of course. 96.5, nothing wrong with that. He could score a little bit more heavily. He'd like to see that first 9 average a little bit higher, but it's fair to say this is not the standard that we saw from Horvat a couple of weekends ago. There is still a bit of time for him to turn this around, but not very much.
No, he's got to turn the screw, and he's got to do it now, because Joe Murnan is not going to look back. It's fair to say that Joe's action is very uncomplicated. It's, I think his grip, it looks very light to me. And it's almost like the dart is balanced in his fingers. A lot of players have got quite a grasp on it. But with Joe, in his fingers, it's very delicate. And it's one of the reasons why he can put the darts very close together, because it just glides out of his hand. I wouldn't imagine if there was a speedometer on
147.
Well, Horvat hitting the treble 9. Not what he wanted to leave. 27, obviously. Now,
You require 27.
7 double 10. No, he's gone 3 for double 12. Now double 6. And there it is. And Horvat does get a leg back.
He doesn't mess around, does he, Mr. Horvat?
7th leg, Jones.
He's the spotter's nightmare. You don't know where he's going to go, but invariably when he does go somewhere, he hits it.
Well, as I say, he was superb in Riesa, and he did so. He seemed to be at his best when he's just flying around the board. He does not hang around. He's not the quickest around the stage, it's fair to say. But when it comes to throwing darts, he lets them go.
Have you noticed as well, Dan, that right-hand side of the board, he's deadly there.
97.
Deadly Dragutin.
Deadly
yeah, double 10, double 6. He just hits it so often.
100.
Murnan still does hold a healthy advantage here. 4-2 up with the throw. Looking to go within a leg of a second-round meeting. Terry Jenkins, the number 11 seed. And
we were talking about Joe's grip there. We've got a really good angle there. You look at Joe's index finger after that 180 from Horvat. Joe's index finger barely touches that barrel. which means that the 99% of dart players are using that index finger, but it doesn't look like he is.
12 now, it has to be. He's got to give himself a dart at the bullseye. Murnan's on 105. Yeah, bullseye it is. Ooh, not very far away now. These are the kinds of shots that win you games. 105, number of ways you could go here. Oh, lovely. 5 for tops, it has to be. Has to be. Murnan tops 5-2.
85.
Well, I fancy that as well.
Gutin required 25.
Sneaks it in. Oh, wow.
I'm so surprised it wasn't 5 double 10.
Joe, you require
So
20.
surprised.
Wow.
So Murnan gets a reprieve, and he's got to hit the target that I think Horvat should have left. And he does.
On the 7th leg.
It goes thump in the middle of the bed.
8th leg, Gutin to throw first.
That little passage of play there may be the decisive factor in who goes on to win this game. Murnan now 1 leg away from the
96.
second round, but Horvat busting his score. He had 2 darts to break. That would have been 4-3 and be throwing to level the match right now. Massive, massive difference in this game, just on, you know, a couple
60.
of darts. And, well, Horvat's got to win 4 on the spin now. And that's going to be tough against Murnan because he's averaging around about 95, the level that Horvat played right the way through the International Darts Open a couple of weekends ago. There you can see, 94.3.
That's steady stuff. That's better than 16 darts a leg, which is
60.
bordering on world class. I mean, world class at the moment, you always look at the 100 average mark. So that's just basically 1 dart better per leg for Joe to get to that level. But we've had some wild bust-out shots already, and we're only into the 3rd game of the weekend. 2 busted 68s on treble 16 from Robert Owen, and that from Horvat. They usually come in 3s. We'll just say, right, that's it. We're not going to get any crazy shots like that for the rest of the weekend. Let's just have lots of treble 20s and lots of big checkouts.
Well, you've got to wait till the last game of the evening session for Big Devon Peterson to be on. He's usually good value for some interesting checkouts.
Who's going to be the brave man to say, we'll give him a highlighter for what he's got left?
60.
Maybe give him that hat that you were flaunting on social media last night for doing your research.
The Ian White light-up hat is quite the piece of darts merchandise.
55.
Just a 55, so Horvat.
85.
85 to hold his throw. Now again, looks at Murnan, he's on a finish, so he's got to use the bull route. 20 for bullseye. Only narrowly missed it last time, narrowly misses it this time. Murnan's got 127 for the match.
You'll fancy this, you know. 60 with the first dart. Perfect. 17 or treble. Treble leaves double 8 for the match. Oh, sensational effort.
Gutin, you require 25.
It was
Only
8
5 double 10.
Last dart. Oh, 2 missed for Horvat. That might be that. Murnan looking at double 8.
Maybe he doesn't know how good he is on double 10. Well, we know how good he is on double 8, and that's a game over. Shaggy is showing himself into the next round.
Certainly is. Joe Murnan will face Terry Jenkins in the second round. Coming up, we have got another Euro Tour debutant, Scott Taylor, making his European Tour bow here in Sindelfingen at the Glaspalast, and he is taking on a man who, well, he is anything but a debutant. Alan Tabben, it's the return of the Saint.
Der Morgengegner von Terry Jenkins. Applaus aber auch nochmal für Dragutin Horvat. Die Doppel haben heute nicht so mitgespielt, wie das wollte, und damit ein verdienter Sieg für Joe Murnan. Joe, congratulations. Happy with the game?
Yeah, very happy. I knew he was in for a tough game. He did really well last week, so, just over moon, get over the line.
Last year you reached a quarterfinal on the European Tour. You won the Pro Tour event. How is the form right now? How good are you?
I think I'm in better form, really. The standards just going so high, it's crazy, really. So, hopefully.
Terry Jenkins next.
Well, I've played Terry before, I've beat him, he's beat me, so it's going to be a good game. Hopefully, it's my turn.
Okay, see you tomorrow again. Thank you very much. Joe Murnan. Der hatte natürlich mitbekommen, dass Dragutin in Riesa dieses Turnier gespielt hat, und er sagt, er wusste schon, was da auf ihn zukam. Das hat er mitbekommen, und Terry Jenkins hat er schon ein paar Mal gespielt, und er hofft einfach jetzt, dass er die Form mitnimmt. Ist eigentlich gut unterwegs, versucht das Ganze jetzt auch noch in Resultate umzumünzen. Morgen also dann seine Partie gegen Terry Jenkins, gegen den er schon ein paar Mal gespielt hat. und bei dem mal der eine, mal der andere gewann. Da traut sich Shaggy durchaus etwas zu. Damit kommen wir gleich zur nächsten Partie. Alan Taban, einer, den wir auch bei den Übertragungen von Sport 1 und damals auch dem DSF so in der Anfangszeit häufiger im Programm hatten, ist ein bisschen abgerutscht zuletzt in der Weltrangliste. Alan Taban, und er bekommt es mit Scott Taylor zu tun. Bis gleich.